All right, we got a no heat call here at a house that one of my guys has been to, but I have not. And I'm the only one on call today. It's New Year's Eve. And we're gonna go in here and see if we can find out why they have no heat. All right, looks like this is gonna be a nice crawl space. I see a bunch of stuff hanging down, which is a sign of moisture. See the tube from a sump pump, so there must be one. There's a piece of one there. Looks like a piece of a condensate pump there. I don't know what that is. Looks a little wet under here. Furnace way back up yonder, so let's go see. And in the meantime, let's watch where we walk. Because there is cat or dog or something, bombs everywhere in here. All right, got a Goodman furnace and an older slab coil, so probably an older AC. And I notice that first initial piece of pipe and elbow there is definitely going to stay full of water. You can see that it's kind of downhill before it goes back up, so there's going to be some water puddled in that. So whether or not we address that is not of issue. For whatever reason, it is not lighting. One good thing about a Goodman is they're easy to fix. So let's open it up and see what's going on. All right, I opened it up and looked inside. The first thing I see is some spare hoses and clamps laying around, and this one, so that one has got a split on the bottom of it, and probably something to do with so much leaking there. All this has probably been this way from the start. I don't know why this would not be drained out. Now I've noticed that on some of the other Goodmans they stopped putting that, some of the newer ones, but anyways, you can see that little downhill jump there. There's going to be some water in that. And this water separator here is hooked up, and the bottom of the heat exchanger is hooked up. Those are the two real important ones. I would have that piped out somehow, but they've only got two drains there. So this has been this way for quite a few years and been working. So, according to the serial number, looks like 07. So it's been in here for quite a while. I don't see a light in here. So let's open this up and see if it's got any power. All right, so we don't have any power. And so what we're going to have to do is determine. All right, so it appeared we're not getting any power, but when we put our leads to the transformer high voltage in, and push the button in, we do get 125, and it started to start right there. So we figured it out. I bypassed that switch with this. I didn't have a straight one, so I just had to bend that one. It's not hot. I've got that cut off. And when I was finally wiggling everything around, making it come off and on, I was able to see a flash behind the board. So I pulled this off to look to try to see if any of these are, you know, too deep or too shallow, and they all look pretty even. So I'm gonna say this thing probably needs a board. It's probably got a crack in it. Okay, we should be able to see the LED. Yep, see it light up. And that's just from me pulling on this board. Yeah, I don't know if you saw that flash. So, and I usually keep these, but I don't have it today. And that is a shame. I'm not going to be able to leave them with any heat. Let's look at the back of the board. All right, I got the board loose without unwiring it. And I can't see what it was that was flashing back here, so it had, when I looked at it before, I did not see any problems with any of these connections. I didn't see any of them that are pushed. Sometimes, you know, they get pushed out and they're too deep. But they all look pretty even. That one right there looks like it might be a little bit deeper. They're okay. So I'm gonna say something on this board. One of those connections is just not great. Sometimes you can spread those apart and make them a little more springy. That bottom left one, possibly. I just don't really see a problem that I can positively identify here, which makes me want to go ahead and replace the board and hope that that makes the problem go away. I think that's what I'm going to need to do. All right, I got the board, but this is not looking real good headed over this way. Let's hope it doesn't look like that underneath. Yep, that's what I was afraid of. Not going in there. Oh boy. Looks like they got another day or two without heat. All right. Found this big piece of wood out here. Trying to make somewhat of a bridge. This ain't gonna be no fun, but I'm gonna give it a try. All right, so this is bad. And this water is just not going down. So what I'm hoping to do is I've got this piece of wood here to get me the first couple of feet, and then it just sinks right there. Hoping to step on that brick and then get over there at least far enough to where it's not ankle deep. And hopefully some of that over there looks like a little bit higher ground. I hope it's not real bad at the furnace. If it is, this just may not happen. There's where the furnace is, so boy, this ain't gonna be no fun. All right, it's not much better at the furnace. All of that plastic is floating, so it's bad all the way over here. If this pipe wasn't here, I wouldn't even consider making this repair, but I can at least sit on this pipe Look at that. Tell you what, man. This is crazy. And this is going to cost an awful lot of money to fix. Something tells me they're not going to want to do it, but I'll fix the furnace for now. But you can see on that block right there, water level has been up. And these waterproof shoes really only, you know, they might tolerate an inch of water, but let's see if we can get this done. Man, sometimes I think I need my head examined. Some of the things we have to do out here. And people don't care what's right or wrong, they just want the heat back on. They don't care if it's only going to get worse and only going to get worse. You know, they're not going to necessarily pay much attention to that. I just want to know what the very minimum they can do to get by. And that's pretty much all I care about. Boy, and this pipe is not quite close enough for me to be able to reach in here as good as I'd like to. And this thing was sparking and carrying on, but it's not the plug. The plug doesn't go bad. Either the depth of one of the connectors can be pushed back, the little snap ends where they slide in, or sometimes you can look at how wide they are. You can maybe spread them apart. The little nipple in there is in two pieces, and you can inspect these pins on the board itself. But whenever you see those sparks flying and inconsistent firing from a bad connection, it's almost always going to be the board. If it's the wiring harness or the Molex plug there on the end, whatever, that's always very very obvious and easy to deal with, really, to be honest. So I would 9 times out of 10 bet the board is going to be your issue if you're seeing sparks and whatnot, you know, and inconsistent, if it'll fire some. And so I'll do this one the easy way, since it's hanging here. I mean, all these whites are the same, and this blue one and these two blacks, I'm just going to pull them off one at a time without having to really keep up with what's what. If this were a train furnace, obviously I'd know what every wire was, but I'm not as familiar with Goodman. And this is a 2-stage deal here. So I'm going to look at these. Transformer in line H. Transformer in line are those first two. It's going to be pretty easy to deal with. There's the line and the transformer. And that blue one is your flame sensor. All right, so like I said, that blue wire is the flame sensor, and it's marked FS on the board, so it's pretty hard to mess that up. And these neutrals here, can't really hurt them either, as long as you get them all on there. And for some reason, I tend to just lean towards putting them back on in the same order they were, but it's really just not going to matter. Sometimes you'll have a separate one or two, but when you do, they won't all be in that line. So I was not able to find anything. I think I got some footage on it when we were here before. Really not able to find anything visual here that was obvious as to why one of these solder joints had gotten compromised, or what we call a cold solder joint. But there was definitely some flashing light from behind there when it was mounted, and I could hold the wires up, you know, forcing the plug up a bit, and it would try to light. I think y'all saw that. But not worth chasing the silliness around, so you plug the two plugs in. That one's just 2, and this one's 12, I believe. Yeah, this one is a 12 pin. All right, so now we got to do is mount it. And believe it or not, this brand new board did not come, and this was sealed too, did not come with any standoffs. So we're going to have to dig them off this old board, which that's not a big deal. We'll get that done. All right, I got them hooked back up. And tell you what, I'd never seen a, you see that, that's the yellow right there. And it's got a little black mark every few inches. Other than that, it's white. I mean, it's got 2 whites. And the Y, the cooling one, or the different, whatever it is. And I even peeled some back here to try to see if maybe it was, you know, just turned color or whatever. And there's no yellow all the way up and through there. It's really strange because there's actually, as you see here, an orange, a black, and there's actually 2 reds coming out of this same piece of wire. 2 reds and 2 whites. I don't see anything. Yep, there they go. So the other red also has little black marks about every inch. You see those black marks on that red. So instead of a yellow, there's 2 reds, 2 whites. That is weird, but I just touched them to the W because I know it's calling for heat in the house. They told me it was. So that's how I figured out which white was being used. The, you know, for which color. And the 2 reds, I didn't even notice until I just got to looking at it. So, and the 2 wire is this white one coming in, and it's got a red and white. Well, that phone doesn't stop. So let's get this thing fired up. All right. Here it comes. All right. Here goes the flame. Get this light off. She's burning. And we still have some issues here. Even though the heat's back on, and that's pretty much all they wanted is, I think you can see as clearly as I can that exhaust pipe goes downhill into the first 90 there. So there's going to be some water pooling, you know, right in the bottom of that 90 there. And it's been that way for years, and you know, whatever. Looks like it goes out of a foundation vent. That's not the end of the world. Biggest issue is this water. I wish I had some sort of mount for this iPhone so you could watch me try to get out of here. So, speaking of getting out of here. Alright, I think I made it worse coming in because that floating plastic is now sunken plastic. So this is going to be no fun, and I did not bring my boat with me. This thing needs encapsulation and a sump pump. The insulation all replaced, or some of it replaced and some of it fixed. It is hanging down everywhere. Man, this is rough.